Here are the ingredients I'll be using for my Korean barbecue. There's soy sauce, green onions, yellow onions, white sugar, cloves of garlic, sesame seeds, sesame oil, red pepper flakes, fresh ginger, black pepper, and sirloin steak. I begin by making a marinade, and I do this by combining all of the ingredients except for the steak. 1/3 of a cup of soy sauce is going to be the only liquid used in this marinade. Soy sauce is very common in Asian foods to provide flavor and a natural color in the food. Right here, I begin to chop the 2 green onions I have to prepare to add to the mixture. I will mince the lighter green parts and add at the same time. Korea's top 3 food imports are beef, corn, and fresh fruit, and this explains why beef is very common in a lot of Korean dishes. Korea's food exports totaled up to $9 billion in 2021, and their most common export was oil-fried noodles. This is why we see them in most authentic food in the United States. The bulgogi dish I am making today is commonly served over rice or oil-fried noodles. However, I am just making the steak. Most common food dishes in Korea contain a large combination of vegetables, meats, and seafood, as my dish does now. This marinade recipe only calls for 1/4 of a yellow onion, so I'll dice it up into fourths, and then I will only slice 1/4 and save the rest. Yellow onions are very important in this food dish, as they provide a very natural taste and texture in the final product. Here, I'm adding 3 tablespoons of white sugar in order to sweeten the marinade. Next, I am measuring 1.5 tablespoons of minced garlic from a jar into my mixture. Next, I am adding 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds in order to add a faint, nutty flavor to my mixture. And then, I'll add 1 tablespoon of sesame oil as well. In order to give my marinade a natural spice, I then add 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. In order to add my 4th teaspoon of minced fresh ginger, I'll have to slice it up and put it through a hand grater. The last ingredient in my marinade is an 1/8 teaspoon of ground black pepper, which I'll just eyeball. Now I begin the painstaking process of trying to cut the meat as thinly as possible in order to add to the marinade. It's important to slice the meat thin, because one of the most common utensils used in Korea are chopsticks, and it's a lot easier to use them with smaller foods. Another common utensil used in Korea is a spoon, but it's improper to use both chopsticks and a spoon at the same time. After marinating my beef overnight in the fridge, I begin to add it to a sauté pan in order to cook it up. It's important to get the marinade in there as well, to increase the flavor. You'll notice here that I add a spoonful or two of honey in order to caramelize the mixture. It adds flavor and texture to the final product. Unlike in America, the Korean table setting is very strict. A soup should always be directly in front of you with rice to the left of it, with the spoon and chopsticks on the right of the soup. The chopsticks are on the outside. The remainder of the food and side dishes can be sorted as desired. After my meat is fully cooked through, I'll begin to remove it off the heat and add it to a separate plate, in order to make the second batch. And here it is. Here's the final product of my Korean barbecue bulgogi.